Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Wednesday, October 1, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, Maitland asked to review surveillance footage from own apartment. A CCTV technician testified on Monday that Constable Noel Maitland had asked to review surveillance footage from his Chelsea Manor apartment in Kingston to determine whether a woman was seen leaving the premises between 11 a.m. and midday on July 12, 2022. According to the technician's statement, which was read into evidence in the Home Circuit Court, he questioned Maitland about the specific time frame but could not recall the officer's exact response. But I recalled him saying he was sleeping when she left, the technician added. The technician, who had installed 5 CCTV cameras at the apartment for Maitland's neighbor, said the constable claimed he wanted to check the footage because a sister has gone missing. He said Maitland came to view the footage on July 14. At the time, he was unaware that the missing woman was Donnelly Donaldson, Maitland's 24-year-old girlfriend. Donaldson, a social media personality and a customer service representative, was reported missing on July 13. She left her home on July 11 with Maitland, and the last spoke to relatives on July 12 while at his apartment. Donaldson's mother testified that she had spoken to her on the morning of July 12, while her brother said he had FaceTimed her briefly at 4:56 and that she was still at the apartment. Maitland is currently on trial for murder and preventing the lawful burial of a corpse in connection with Donaldson's presumed death. The technician said that while reviewing footage on July 14, he observed Maitland driving out of the complex after 2 p.m. on July 12. Earlier in the trial, Maitland's neighbor testified that the constable appeared visibly anxious and pressured him to delete surveillance footage showing Maitland entering the apartment complex twice between July 11 and 12, once with a woman and later alone. He seemed worried. He seemed to have greater consternation, the neighbor testified, adding that Maitland said he was undergoing a promotion evaluation and didn't want footage of him smoking a spliff to raise red flags during background checks. The neighbor said he refused to comply with the request, calling it inappropriate. The CCTV technician's statement was one of 5 read into evidence yesterday by agreement between the defense and the prosecution. Another statement from a detective sergeant revealed that a sofa was seized from Maitland's apartment on July 21 after it had been taken to a Kingston car wash and power washed. A worker reported seeing what looked like blood-like rice grain oozing from the furniture when it was brought there by Maitland on July 13. Other witness statements included that of an officer who had transported a forensic team to and from the Institute of Legal Medicine and Science to Maitland's apartment, as well as a police officer who had been a part of a team that accompanied a truck driver to the car wash. Earlier in the morning session, a detective sergeant testified that on July 27, 2022, he visited the law office in Kingston of Christopher Townsend, where he arrested Maitland, who, when cautioned for murder, reportedly stated Jaja. Townsend, while cross-examining the witness, suggested that his client was never cautioned and did not utter those words. However, the witness insisted that he had. The officer further testified that during the arrest, he seized a Bangor phone belonging to Maitland that had been reportedly taken from his father, who was present. Andrew Wright and 2 others found guilty in $222 million in sports fraud case. Former financial controller at the Institute of Sports, Andrew Wright, was on Tuesday convicted in the $222 million fraud racket uncovered at the government-run sports agency 8 years ago. 2 other defendants, Rudolph Barnes and O'Neill Hope, were also convicted before the Supreme Court on Tuesday. Wright was found guilty on 13 counts, while his former colleagues Barnes and Hope were convicted on 11 counts and 8 counts respectively. Hope was, however, acquitted on 4 charges. The men were remanded in custody until November 21, when they will return to court for sentencing. The presiding judge ordered 6 weeks for the preparation of social inquiry and antecedent reports before the final penalties are handed down. The convictions bring to a close another chapter in the long-running case, which uncovered a scheme that siphoned off millions from in-sports. 3 other defendants were freed at the trial. The group was accused of being part of a network of former and current in-sports employees who allegedly wrote, signed, and cashed fraudulent checks for individuals who were neither employed by nor contracted to the agency. They faced various charges including conspiracy to defraud, acquisition, use and possession of criminal property, engaging in transactions involving criminal property, and larceny as a servant. The fraud and other irregularities were first discovered in 2017 during an internal review of in-sports financial records. The matter was subsequently referred to the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, triggering a long-running investigation. Wright was eventually arrested in April 2023 while pursuing a wrongful dismissal case before the Industrial Disputes Tribunal. The former in-sports financial controller is also known for promoting the French Connection and the Chugit parties. Defense attorneys Alessandra LeBeach, who represented Mr. Wright, and Seymour Stewart, who appeared on behalf of Mr. Hope, say they will be appealing their convictions.
I'm Alessandra LeBeach, one of the attorneys for Andrew Wright, and the only thing I would say at this time is that we are taking the necessary instructions to see what will be done in the future.
What's the next step going forward for defense?
Appeal, naturally.
Okay.
We have already identified several grounds and we are eager to have this portion of it completed so that we can get the matter before the Court of Appeal.
No, we do not agree with the verdicts. Everything that my client, Mr. Hope, did was duly and properly authorized from on high. We don't believe that he should have even been charged. And we have already started the process to file our appeal.
Cops say St. Thomas is a drug trafficking hub. Intelligence gathered by the police suggests that the frequency of drug busts in St. Thomas is largely due to the parish's proximity to Haiti, according to Acting Senior Superintendent of Police Patrick Rowe, Director of the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division. Rowe explained to the news that St. Thomas and the neighboring parish Portland have been our most problematic areas in terms of the transshipment of drugs. We have shown that both the parishes and Westmoreland, to a lesser extent, represent launching points for ganja to Haiti, Rose said. His comments followed 2 major seizures in St. Thomas in just over a week. On September 26, police intercepted 2 motor cars on Pamphret Main Road, seizing more than 1,600 pounds of compressed ganja. 2 men, identified as Ryan Chambers of White House, Westmoreland, and Takashi Foster of Slipe, St. Elizabeth, were arrested and charged. Then, on September 21, cops seized more than 1,900 pounds of ganja and a boat in Dumfries. Rowe noted that while the coastal line provides opportunities for traffickers, the real factor is geography. I think it's a matter of proximity to Haiti. When people are coming in from Haiti, they normally arrive in Portland, and that has to do with that side of the island being close to Haiti. The population of Haitians in that side of the island is also reflective of the traffic of people and activities from Haiti to Jamaica through those parishes, he said. Despite the ongoing bust, Rowe admitted that it's a tough battle. The JDF and the JCF combined have sought to have controlled the coastal lines. The JCF has a presence in St. Thomas. They have a marine outpost there. JDF Coast Guard has an active presence. The U.S. Coast Guard outside of Jamaica's coastline has a presence, and they have been doing some interception in recent times, Rowe told the news. But the traffickers are not amateurs. According to Rowe, fishermen often use their intimate knowledge of the seas to outwit patrols. Fishermen often use their intimate knowledge of the seas to outwit patrols. Sometimes you have instances of fisher folks studying the patrol pattern of police and the Coast Guard and finding ways to maneuver. A lot of the transshipment takes place late at night. Night transshipment reduces visibility on the seas, he explained. According to the 2024 International Narcotics Control Strategy Report, Jamaica remains the largest Caribbean supplier of cannabis to the United States, with the illicit trade valued in the billions globally. Local authorities continue to link drug smuggling to the illegal guns for drugs trade, which fuels violence in several communities. Still, Rowe insists that law enforcement agencies are tightening the net. It's not for a lack of effort on the part of the police, he said, but as you can appreciate, Jamaica is an island and there are a number of entry and exit points. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.